Hello there, hi, let's go. Interpersonal communication is small in intimate groups like families are an effective way. Right, so let's see. Now what we've got here is we need to know what part of the sentence families belongs to. So interpersonal communication in small intimate groups like families are an effective way. Okay, sorry, is. Okay, because the subject here is interpersonal communication. Also, it's usually better to say such as rather than like because it sounds more formal. Interpersonal communication in small intimate groups such as families is an effective way to enhance the relationship between family members. Good. But I have to admit, right, instead of but, we could say however. Here, to depersonalize it, we say however, it is clear, yeah, it is clear that there is an increasing decline in communication. Or we could just say that there is a decline. Okay, just for clarity, because we've got a long sentence already, and it doesn't sound. It just sounds clear if we just say there is a decline. Also, however, it is clear there is a decline in communication. Remember as well, personal pronouns are not advisable. Okay, so that's why I said it is clear instead of I have to. And here we can't use an empty sentence. An empty sentence when a sentence can be placed in any essay in the world, and the examiner knows this. Okay, so what you'd have to say is this essay will discuss these issues using examples from electronic devices and parental working situations to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Let's go. Addicted to the internet, e-devices such as who is addicted to the internet? It sounds like e-devices are addicted to the internet, but that's not the case. That's impossible. So we could say people are often addicted to the internet by using e-devices such as mobile phones, tablets, and something else. Lists are best done in three, and also we could just delete e-devices. It's not a very common thing to say, and we could just say people are increasingly, or people are addicted to the internet through devices. Yeah, that's better. Through devices such as mobile phones, tablets, and computers. Yeah, and laptops. And this just makes it sound more. Sorry, just the list. It's just easier to read. That's how they come. Lists come in three, such as mobile phones, tablets, and laptops, comma. These become the first choice rather than face-to-face communication. Convenience, as it is, adults are accustomed to keeping in connection with others, keeping in contact is better, others by their electronic devices. For example, the family gathering is less attractive than before. Most of us make a priority to send a message or make telephone calls instead of having a traditional family gathering. Okay, priority, check if that's what you wanted to say. Most of us prefer to send a message or make telephone calls. I think would have been better there. Occupied with building relationships with others through their mobile phones, adults often ignore what the elder said during the dinner. Okay, consequently, e-devices steal quality time. Very good. Here we don't need it. Excellent. So, clear argument, clear paragraph, that's very good. What we could have said though is, for example, a recent study showed that 3 out of 5 adolescents prefer to communicate with the smartphone rather than speaking with elderly grandparents. Okay, and then perhaps just expand on that. But just a recent study, a university study, something like that. Let's carry on. Additionally, good. More and more working parents spend the majority of their time on working in the office, even working overtime at home. Fantastic. When parents want to obtain an advantageous position in this stiff competition, they have no choice but to devote themselves to work at the cost of communicating with their children. Fantastic. For instance, children are sent to boarding school and go home even once a month. Good. Therefore, less communication causes the senses of isolation between parents and children. Fine. Causes the sense of isolation. Let's see. Now, sent to boarding school and go home even once a month. And go home once a month. So, and here we need to say, and often only go home once a month. But is this related to... Actually, it is, yeah. Okay, good. And have no choice but to devote themselves to work the cost of communicating with their children. For instance, children are sent to boarding school and often only go home once a month. Yes. So often, to hedge it, watch the end chapters in the sentence guide, and that will help you get to know about the idea of hedging. Therefore, less communication causes the sense of isolation between parents and children. Fantastic. Causes a sense. That's what I wanted to say. Causes a sense. To conclude, internet addiction and working pressure discourage us to communicate with each other, discourages family communication. Remember, personal pronouns. Just leave them and perhaps put them at the end when you want to say your opinion, at the end in the conclusion. Considering a father and mother is an important role to play, workers are responsible for balancing preposition. The verb is always followed by a gerund. For balancing work and life for families, and all of us will benefit from communication between family members. Fine. Remember though, try to keep it deeper, try to depersonalize it. Okay? So good work, but we do need to pay attention to depersonalizing it and getting our sentence structure largely through lists, and not through lists, sorry, but getting our sentence structure under control. But great start, Hang. Very impressed. Let's go. It is common that giving much more emphasis in reading rather than... No, it is common that applying more emphasis or diverting more attention to reading rather than doing an enjoyable activity is... You have to finish that. Okay, if we're saying rather... So it is common that giving much more emphasis on reading rather than doing an enjoyable activity is what? We have to finish the clause, or we just say diverting more attention to reading rather than doing an enjoyable activity has become increasingly more common. Full stop. I totally agree that an enjoyable activity prepares children to be a good member of society. Yeah, the punch. Okay, instead of this, what could we say? Well, we say, this essay will discuss these views using examples from Harvard and NBA and the NBA to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Reading has numerous benefits, but playing on game consoles can develop skills that could not be developed by just reading alone. Good. This is because through playing on games consoles, children can develop spatial awareness, cognitive abilities, and something else that is impossible to develop just by reading. Okay, so what I did there is I tried to do a list: spatial awareness, cognitive development, and a competitive nature, comma, that is impossible to develop by reading or just by reading. For example, a recent study from Harvard, very good, suggests that students who play 2 hours a week on consoles outperform their counterparts by 20% in the psychometric test, or outperforms the ordinary children, or outperforms other children, or non-games console playing children by 20% in psychometric tests. Okay, write down 5 sentences, okay, using a similar structure to this, using outperform and counterparts. 5 sentences, and I want the words outperform and counterparts. You invent the examples. Therefore, the advantages of playing on games consoles are clear. Give an opportunity to a child to progress in the air rather than just reading. No, to progress in other areas rather than just reading. Okay? In other areas would be better there. Secondly, just reading may be stood at an academic. No. Secondly, just reading may promote an academic basis rather than the whole things. May promote an academic basis, full stop. Because of physical activities, especially the sports. No. Because physical activities, comma, especially sports, comma, introduce new dynamics such as competition, they should be encouraged. Okay, because they do this, they do that. Okay, but review the use of starting a sentence with because. Because of this, they do this. Okay, you need to review it. There's a clause there. Take for example, students hiking or playing basketball. Okay, students that hike or play basketball can help themselves or can develop a good habit that will continue into their adulthood. Good. Kobe, James, and other NBA athletes all started in the past their training from an early age. Therefore, it is necessary to give an emphasis, to emphasize, not give emphasis, emphasize physical education to explore students' potential in some competitive fields. Okay, not bad. To conclude, a balanced education system needs to incorporate various activities rather than just reading, which will benefit the lifestyle of young people. Good. Consequently, it will promote students' health and well-being and practice their skills in many aspects and improve their skills in many aspects. Excellent start, Hang. Very good, very impressed. Now, what I want you to do now is make a list of all the mistakes you've heard. Write them down. That's your personal error list. Then I want you to correct these essays. Send me back the perfect versions, the corrected versions. Send me back your list of mistakes. Research some of the areas that I've picked up on, such as starting sentences with because, and then write me 2 new essays and check them for mistakes that you've made in these essays, and then send me the new essays along with these corrected essays and along with your error list, and send it all to me in one email. Okay, Hang? You're doing really good. Let's keep on improving. And the new essays, I want you to answer the questions that I send you. Also, a smart student like you can watch all the tutorials. So watch the academic ones for academic task 1 and watch the task 2 ones as well, okay? And start applying what you've learned. So excellent work. Let's keep on improving, all right?